What's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. If you're listening to the podcast, you can also listen at Omni Studio, iTunes, allthingscomedy.com. And if you go to allthingscomedy.com, there's a host of podcasts there with some of the best comics in America. Eric Griffin has Riffin with Griffin. Bill Burr has a Monday morning podcast. Ron Funches has his own podcast called Getting Better. Jackie Johnson has Teenage Self, Roast Your Teenage Self, Roast All of Your Teenage Self, and Self-Help with Taylor Tomlinson and Kelsey Cook, and the list goes on. And Bert Kreischer has his podcast. He also has a podcast with Bill Burr, Eddie Pepitone. The names just keep rolling. So go to allthingscomedy.com, check out all their podcasts there. Podcast is sponsored by onthevolleyapparel.com. And if you go to onthevolleyapparel.com, you see tanks, t-shirts, hoodies, and sweatshirts with soccer/hip-hop logos or emblems on the front. And use my promo code Comic Rant, you get 20% off at onthevolleyapparel.com. And just going to get into who the guests are today. First, we have Neil Chakravarty, comic from San Diego, Chelsea fan. His wall is a Chelsea fan. His wall is wearing mad Chelsea gear right now. Last week when Chelsea lost, he was in a room with no Chelsea colors. And now that they qualified for Champions League by losing and won a game midweek. What up, Neil?
I'm doing good. I've been as good in 7 years.
10? Oh, since the last semifinal.
Yeah.
I got a question to ask you about that later, too. And Lee, purple shirt wearing Southampton fan, Hudson, who is wearing purple. And I guess he'll explain why. Comic out of England. What up, fam?
I'm good. I couldn't match Neil Pink from last week when they lost to West Brom. So I've gone for purple to celebrate or commiserate our loss to them. So.
Man, and I saw Neil this weekend because I had a show in San Diego, so he came by on Saturday. So he performed. We had a good time, hung out. So that was cool. When was the last time I saw
weekend,
you, Neil?
Yeah, it was
Over
a good
year. In person?
No. You saw me the last time you were in Rant, a couple of months back.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that. Pandemic all blends together. But we here.
Okay.
We here. And I guess we'll go Champions League first. So I want to find this thing that I saw on the BBC News about your boy Tuchel.
Mm-hmm.
And what did he say? What did Tuchel say? Hold on 1 second.
Is that something bad or good?
We'll see. I'm scrolling through. He says, reaching semifinals, great achievement for Chelsea, Tuchel. And I'm like, does he know they won it before? The whole thing?
Yeah.
And is it a great achievement for you?
I think it's a great achievement because we haven't done this in 7 years. Well,
Okay.
we hadn't even, before this year, we hadn't even won a single knockout round. Forget reaching the semifinals. And if you see what Chelsea was in the 10 years before that, I think we made 7 semifinals in 10 years. So it was almost like it just used to happen. So I think if Tuchel was our manager in 2013, and if he had said that, it would have been really weird. But because it was the custom back then. But now I think every Chelsea fan is feeling like, because we didn't expect it to happen this season, and
you didn't even expect this at the beginning of the season when you bought all those players?
No, nowhere near. No,
For real?
I didn't think we could. Yeah. I mean, I didn't have any expectations.
If you didn't think you would do that, why'd you fire Frank? Frank obviously wasn't like below did you even think you was going to finish in the Champions League spots? Like,
No, I mean, I think top four was a bare minimum. Even though I was not in favor of sacking Lampard, because I believe that we will be able to play better in the second half of the season as the team has more time with each other. But even I knew that if for some reason we don't make it to top four by the end of the season, he will be sacked. And there's nothing you can do about it. Chelsea, you don't get to keep your job if you're not in top four. So, the fact that Champions League, I mean, reaching the Champions League semifinals is to me equivalent to like competing for the league, you know, like if you come like really close to winning the league. But so it's 3 games now. Well, the first 2 to deal with. So, you know, anything can happen now.
What do you think about them reaching the semis, Lee?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good achievement given that they've had, you know, a season of sort of upheaval with the managers and everything. I think it's pretty good. I think the draw was a little bit kind to them. I think Porto was probably the team they'd want in this round, but they're still not pushovers. They knocked Juventus out, so they have something. But yeah, I mean, I think Tuchel's right to say it's a good achievement, and it'd be interesting to see how they get on in the semis.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of an achievement, but I think buying those players at the beginning of the season or before the season was the achievement. Like, there's no way with that squad. They finished top 4 last season, right? Then they added so many quality players to that. It's like, yeah, it's time to get somewhere, Frank or no Frank. And it's not a given that it shouldn't happen, but to me, if it didn't happen, that would be weirder than if it did happen.
Not this year. I think that what you're saying is the expectation with all this investment, but I don't think anybody expected it to happen this year itself.
Yeah, the only thing I don't expect from them this year is to win the league. But, you know, semifinals, you know, we'll see. What if you get knocked out to semifinals? How would you feel about that?
It's still a great achievement. Just make sure that you get the top 4, because you want to be playing. You don't want to be playing Europa League next season.
Why not? It's a great league. It's all over the world. Are you kidding me? We're in it. We just
You know what the Chelsea Instagram page did yesterday? So they have these, you know, these quizzes and all of that. So one of the questions was as a pre-game quiz was, who does Chelsea face if they win their semi-finals? So the options were Real Madrid or Liverpool, PSG or Bayern, Dortmund or City, and the fourth option very cheekily was Granada or Manchester United. I'm like, well, that's you don't want to be the object of other clubs' jokes next season, so you don't want to be anywhere near the Europa League.
Oh, so they were dissing United?
Yeah, it was kind of like they're not here, but let's put them as the fourth option.
I didn't really get it.
You will when it's Granada or Chelsea next season.
We already did Granada, and we got them tomorrow too. Yeah, I mean Thursday at least.
Yeah.
Let me go to my sheet and look at what else I wanted to talk about. So this win. So how much confidence do you have going into the next round, even though you lost? Because this is the second loss under Tuchel, so you kind of backed in to the semifinal. So do you have confidence, or does it come down to after tomorrow's games and you see who you're up against?
Well, regardless of who you're up against, I think we will start the underdogs, because both Real Madrid and Liverpool are Champions League winners, like the core of their teams.
Even though you're above Liverpool in the table?
I don't think it matters. Like in one-off games, two-leg games, I don't think it matters. They have the experience of winning these kind of games, and regardless of who comes through, they would have shown one more proof of why they are such a good team by beating the other guy out. So we'll be up against it. I mean, today's loss, I didn't really, until the time you mentioned it in the intro, never really registered as a loss to me.
Because you made it through.
And also we defended really well the entire game. That was just like a last minute wonder goal. So I'm not really that bothered about conceding that goal. But I mean, Real Madrid, or you look at those teams, Real Madrid or Liverpool, and you look at those managers, like they've been there, done that. You'd back them.
You beat Liverpool this year.
Yeah, but still, it's the Champions League, and I trust. I mean, if I was a neutral, I would trust those players more than the Chelsea players.
Even after your win against Crystal Palace, when your offense finally opened up and Havertz, it's like kind of getting more of a feel.
Yeah, but they still haven't, there's no data to go by that these guys can do it in Champions League knockouts against somebody in a semi-final. Liverpool has done it 2 years. Like most of this team has done it in 2 seasons. Most of that Real Madrid team has done it 3 seasons. So
Lee, let me ask: why does Neil have the confidence of a Chelsea fan before Abramovich bought the team? Like why does Neil play the underdog even when you have one of the most expensive teams, one of the most experienced coaches, more experienced than the one they started the season with? They won some shit. The coach was he's a German ideologist, and that's what you kind of want in football right now, because a lot of coaches with experience in the Bundesliga are doing. But
you could say the same things about the other 2 teams too, Real Madrid or Liverpool. They have better teams, better squads, and better managers.
Have you seen Real Madrid? It's unrecognizable. They have a kid who was going to be their forward playing right back. They have Benzema. Bale is gone. Ronaldo's gone. It's just
how many Champions League winners does that team have?
Modric is a grandfather. I'm sure his grandson is going to start playing.
They're grandfathers, but they literally ran the court versus Liverpool last week. So
I watched the Classico at the weekend as well.
Yeah, me too. Go ahead.
They were really impressive in that game. I thought they kept Barca fairly quiet, restricted them to just sort of crosses and stuff, and Benzema did really well on his goal, great finish. So yeah, I think they're still a danger. They showed their quality, like Neil said, against Liverpool as well. They, the likes of Cruz showed that they still got it. Modric was great in that game as well. So I think it'd be interesting. I think you're downplaying Chelsea a little bit. I think knocking out Atletico was a big statement from Chelsea in the round before this one, because Atletico under Simeone are Champions League 2-leg specialists. They've made such a good habit of that over the last few years, and Chelsea sort of brushed them. Yeah. Did you concede at all in the?
No, 3-0 leg.
Yeah, so 2 clean sheets against them is a pretty big achievement. And like you say, you did the job this time in the first leg. You didn't really need to fully turn it on tonight, and I wouldn't read too much into the goal, like you said as well. So I think whoever you get, you'll give them a game. I don't think it's not the stage of the competition where you can say we'll definitely win or we'll definitely lose. It's just a hope for the best. But yeah, you can't dismiss the quality of the opposition at the same time, though. So I think he's right to be a little bit cautious, but I'd be slightly more confident.
Yeah, slightly more confident. Thank you, because you're talking about Real Madrid, and Real Madrid is you beat Atletico Madrid, and Atletico Madrid is above the table of Real Madrid in the same league.
Maybe not for long.
so it's what are you downplaying?
But Simeone is not won a Champions League. None of those Atletico Madrid players, except maybe Suarez, have won. Simeone hasn't won a Champions League. Now most of those Atletico Madrid. Yeah, but we are talking about the Champions League here. These guys know how to do it. And I'm underconfident right now.
But it's not
because I haven't seen anything from this team. There are no achievements in this team or this manager so far. Which is fine. Give me a year. I will be unbearable.
Can I give you
enjoy the time while it lasts.
Can I give you more than a year? I'll give you right now. I watch Real Madrid games more often than you do. And it's a patch. It's like if you walked into something, they're under construction. They got scaffolding. The walls is patchy from stucco.
But so are we.
There's parts that need to come out. I think you have a team that could win a bunch of stuff under several different coaches. You just need a little bit more time, playing time.
Yeah.
So, but you're doing a. You sound like who's Chelsea's main rivals?
United.
Say again?
United.
You sound like
Liverpool.
a United fan.
Well, I think you're both very similarly equipped team. Like, I think in a rebuild we spend almost the same amount of money, and it's just that you didn't sack your inexperienced managers. We sacked ours. So.
You got Mason Mount though, one of the most informed players in the world.
Yes.
Right now. So
yep.
The kids are tearing it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even I gotta retract what I was saying about Mason Mount. Like,
yeah.
I can't say shit.
Yeah, no, we have a good team. A lot of things are working, and with the Palace team.
Hold on a second. Could you say that again?
I mean, we have a good team. It's just that when I look at the other teams that are left in the competition, if this was like, I was very confident about beating Porto, But
the only time you don't care about data, it's when it's to be confident about Chelsea.
No, but this is all data. Like, this is all historical data, what these guys have done. I remember like...
But it's not the same Real Madrid team.
It doesn't matter. They showed it.
I watched El Classico. I watched El Classico too, and I was like, in my head, I went through both teams on both sides of the pitch. I was like,
yeah.
So what's changed about Barcelona? And I was like, there's Messi, there's Busquets, and the goalkeeper I can kind of include. And then there's Jordi Alba, and then it's like a lot of changes, and then I think about the players they bought and the players that didn't work out and the ones that's on the field and all the youth, and the same thing, all the youth with Real Madrid. And I mean, those young guys, Valverde, is it Vinicius? And it's just,
you're talking about a team that is like half and half experienced and young. Ours is like all inexperienced at this level. Like, I think the only guy except Thiago Silva who's played a Champions League final, we're a bunch of people who've had zero experience at Champions League level.
Come on, Neil. Willian's gone. You can be confident now.
Yeah, Jesus.
your scapegoat's gone.
Yeah, and Kepa's not in the goal anymore. You act like Kepa's still your number one. I've never seen.
No, we are a work in progress. So I'm always going to be skeptical unless until maybe next season. Give Tuchel a good preseason to work with all of these guys, because what you're saying about a lot of patchwork in Real Madrid and stuff. I have the same feeling about our team too, because we play differently in different games, and he's trying out different things. But we're doing that while having players who not got that track record at this level. If Benzema has a good game, what it leads to. If Cruz, Modric, Casemiro have a good game, what it leads to.
But Benzema's too old to be having consistent good games. And
he's saying that, but he still keeps doing it,
Yeah, he's not doing it. Listen, if Ronaldo was there, I understand your fears. It's Benzema, bro. And I know Benzema's good, but it's still Benzema, bro. You're overrating Benzema, which I'm sure he'd be happy to hear from you that you're doing that.
Wasn't he like one of the best players versus Liverpool?
Benzema?
Yeah.
With who? Liverpool?
Liverpool, yeah.
Oh, that game? But
yeah.
Yeah, but Liverpool's just has no defense. Right? He was one of the best. He was one of the best players against Phillips.
Hey man, like
Ozbak. Is it Ozbak?
Kabak. Ozan Kabak. I like how you. I like you.
Somebody from Schalke who wasn't playing when they bought him from Schalke. Yeah, he was the best. He was really experienced against.
No, Champions League nights. I've seen Chelsea in 2012 when we finally won.
You know what, Neil? You win. You win talking Chelsea out of being a great team.
No, but that was one of the worst Chelsea sides of that entire era. But mind over body, 3 or 4 of those players completely drag the team, and then their mentality seeps through the squad.
Neil, you just won Man U fan of the episode. You win, bro. Jesus, I don't even have to try to shit on Chelsea.
No, I love the way we're playing right now. I love the moment we are in, but I'm still gonna be. It's still the Champions League semi-final with a bunch of folks who haven't done it. So
as much as I'm trying to get you to like your team, just remember you just lost. Anyway, Jesus, has you ever seen a conversation like that, Lee? Lee's more confident about Southampton than you are about Chelsea.
Not after this weekend. Oof.
So let's get into your game. What happened? You won last week, right?
Yeah, I mean...
And you had a week... Did you have a week off? Whole week off?
Yeah, whole week off. Well, I will say that the game was on Monday, and Monday was when the pubs reopened in the UK. So I think our team had stopped off en route to West Brom and had a few beers. We played like it. Like it was just bad. It was just a bad performance. We did a little bit going forward, but their keeper had a really good game. But we were just too open at the back. It was sloppy. It was poor. I don't know if maybe the players are too caught up thinking about next weekend in the FA Cup semi-final against Leicester, maybe. But I think he might want to drop some of them after that because we had our strongest team available. Other than Romeo. Romeo's still out injured, but we have everyone else. Mm-hmm. So really, I expected better. West Brom were good though. To be fair to them, I think they took the confidence from the Chelsea game and took it into that. They played with confidence. They wanted to go forward. They wanted to score goals. Callum Robinson scored his first ever Premier League goal that wasn't against Chelsea. So yeah, they're in the mood. I still think it's too much for them to stay up because they're still like 3 points behind Fulham. I think have done.
Well, I kind of wanted to go into that. So I pulled up like their fixtures. So Fulham's fixtures, remaining fixtures, right? So let me go to the Premier League first. So it's Sheffield United dead. West Brom 24 points, they're 19th. Fulham 26 points, they're 18th. Newcastle 32 points, and they're 17th. And then you could count Burnley, they're in 16th, 33 points. There's like 8 games left, except Fulham probably just 6 games left. But
seven for everyone else. Fulham have got 6.
7, yeah. And then, I remember this time last year, Martin was like, Villa is done. And we all know what happened. So Fulham, their schedule it's not easy. They got Arsenal, they got Chelsea, Burnley, Southampton, you guys, Man United, Newcastle. Right? And Newcastle, they got who they got? They got Liverpool, Arsenal, Leicester, Man City. And then they got like a little break with Newcastle, with Sheffield, but then they got Fulham. And then for West Brom, it's Big Sam.
I don't think West Brom. So if West Brom have to go through, they have to not just get past Fulham, right? They have to get past, say, Newcastle.
Yeah.
So,
but like, I think if anyone's going to do it, it will be West Brom, just because they've got momentum right now. Like Fulham have had a couple.
That's why I'm bringing them up.
Yeah. Fulham have had a couple of games recently where they've been leading and then they've thrown it away. And I think they're just low on confidence. I don't think they're going to get anything from those games.
If they lose this week coming up, they're going to lose all their confidence. They don't get some type of points. I don't know why they would keep their confidence.
Yeah.
It'll be hilarious if Newcastle still stays up after the kind of season they've had.
But that's another thing. It's like, it's not even Bruce. It's like Callum Wilson. They were doing fine. And they had a good scorer, Callum Wilson, which is a no-brainer, which other teams should have tried to get. Like Brighton Hove should have tried to get him. And that would have like changed their whole season. They'd be like a mid-table team. And so then he gets injured, and say Maximum got COVID, and then Saint-Maximin's been in and out, but mostly out.
He was great this week, though.
Yeah, and he just came on this week. You could tell, oh, he's COVID-free now. He played some COVID-free ass football, created an assist. Callum Wilson is back in there, and he did one of those like quintessential, Saint-Maximin, I'm going to embarrass you and put you on my highlight reel type dribbles, scores with his off foot. That's how better he is. He scored with his left foot. Like, if that vaccine ain't working on him, it ain't working on nobody. So is it, people get hard on coaches and they don't think about the injuries sometimes. And it's not like Newcastle has all this depth that's being wasted. It's just they are what they are. So yeah, good for Bruce. But Lee, you think West Brom has a better chance of getting out than Fulham?
I think so. If they win their game in hand over Fulham, they'll go above them. I just think they've got confidence. Like, momentum's such a big thing in football, and like 6 points from their last 2 games is huge because it's given them a real chance. I still think the bottom 3 will be the 3 that go. I think Newcastle and Burnley will have enough to keep above them. But I think West Brom are probably the team. If any of them are going to do it, I think they're the team at the moment. And they're not I think Fulham kind of they play quite open football still under Parker. Whereas West Brom, it's just, they don't care about style. They'll try and get that result every way they can. They actually played some good football against us this weekend, but they can do whatever they need to do to try and get something out of the game, which is might be the difference.
Yeah, speaking of style, West Brom showed their style on like the 3rd goal, that celebration, when all of them just crouched down, prison pose style, and stared at each other. I was like, that's the greatest social distancing celebration I've seen all Corona. That shit was fire. But
I don't think I saw that. I think I turned the TV off at that point. So.
Yeah. I mean, I feel you. It's actually, I was going to announce the game. West Brom 4, Fulham, Southampton 0.
Yeah, there was nothing wrong with
There was nothing wrong with that goal. What the fuck did you guys see that? I'm like, it's obvious he's onside.
Yeah.
They took the wrong player. Apparently they took the wrong player.
Yeah, they looked at Carl Bartley, it wasn't even in line with he wasn't in the goalkeeper's view though, so it's not even down to him. Like, it's Diagne who got the touch and was perfectly onside. So yeah, it's a goal all day long. So yeah, I can't even argue that one as a Saints fan.
Yeah, because today I'm going to be announcing all the real scores. Fuck the official scores. It's West Brom 4, Southampton 0. And when we get to the Man United game, it's Man United 4, Spurs 1. Yeah, I think they scored 1. Yeah.
Lee, I have to say though, I have to apologize on behalf of Chelsea, because this is what we do. We give absolutely horrible teams some confidence, and then other teams in the league have to go deal with them after that.
That's good. I like that I can blame someone else for this. We were bad. We deserved everything we got.
Yeah. I mean, don't have a bear truck outside the stadium for the players before they walk in. Chill on that. So let's bounce back. What do you think of Liverpool's chances tomorrow against Real Madrid in Champions League?
I mean, the away goal could be big that they got. Salah's goal in Madrid, it gives them a chance. It'd be interesting to see whether they can turn it on. Like I think I said last week, like, the big second leg factor would normally be that you get to play it in front of your own fans, and at Anfield that can make a difference in the European games, like it did against Barca last year. Well, not last year. Was that last year or the season before?
The season before, yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting time has just become nonsense now. But yeah, I think like the crowd can make a real difference in those sort of things, and obviously this time it can't. So I think Real Madrid might be able to take advantage of that and just control the game because there won't be as much emotion coming from the stands. I think Liverpool will fight for it, but I can see it being like a 1-1 or something and Real Madrid going through still.
Yeah, it's going to be tough tomorrow. It's going to be real tough. What about? Go ahead, Lee.
Yeah, I mean, they have if they have to get some of the really top quality players firing for like a full 90 minutes of the game, because in the first leg, what happened was they were absolutely absent for the first half, and then I don't know, they came out second half, they started doing well, they got that goal, and then again it died down. So they need a period of like consistency from their main players, which is what Madrid did. Like their old guard kind of stood up, and their old guard is even older than the Liverpool old guard who are in their prime. So, but I don't think they'll give up without a fight. This team has obviously Champions League means a lot to them, to their manager too. So they will have a strategy. At the end of the day, if they win 2-0, they can, they go through. So it's not a completely impossible ask. I think I'd say 33% chance Liverpool, 1 in 3.
It's just that Liverpool, when you watch them in the league, they have so much trouble scoring.
Yeah,
it's like
true.
There's like a huge goal drought going on up front.
True.
So,
I think it'll be interesting to see who Liverpool pick in midfield tomorrow, because that midfield three for Real Madrid of Casemiro, Modric, and Kroos can really control a game. So I think Liverpool need players who can get in their faces and not give them time on the ball, because if those three get time on the ball, they'll dictate everything.
Right. They're really going to have to step it up tomorrow, Liverpool. And if they can step it up to that Barca level, when they beat Barca 4-0, we'll see. But I just don't think this team feels like that team that did that 2 years ago. Like their mentality is not there. It's just not that type of season. I don't think they can turn that switch on. So I would say Real Madrid got this. And I just also want to say, I told y'all PSG was going to beat Bayern. Because no Lewandowski, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need him.
I think
how you going to go against a Neymar and Mbappe and your top goal scorer?
Yeah.
Like, responsible for probably a third of your goals, and then replace him with Choupo-Moting.
Yeah, I mean, what's wrong with Choupo-Moting? Like, he's the Stoke Lewandowski.
Yeah, Stoke. He's not even a legend at Stoke. Like, even Stoke people like, we had Choupo-Moting? When did we have him?
He has had the most bizarre career of them all. Like, I saw, like, he left, like, 6 clubs without a transfer fee. And those clubs run the gamut of, like, the absolutely horrible clubs to absolutely elite. He was at Bayern before this, right? Sorry, he was at PSG.
At PSG.
Then he went to Bayern.
And he scored, like, on the way to the Champions League final last season. And then now he's on Bayern. And they're like, what is Bayern doing? Yeah. Even, like, there's, like, I was watching, like, even when he scored, I think, did he score midweek or something? Or did he score in the first game? Did he score in the first game?
He scored in the first game. He scored today too, right?
Yeah, and he scored today too. But I feel
he missed a lot of chances too.
He's either being bullied by Muller. He missed a lot of chances, but he also doesn't get a lot of chances. And I think Muller doesn't make... I feel like Muller's used to a certain standard of player, and he kind of stares at Choupo-Moting like you're not good enough throughout the game. Like when Choupo-Moting did score in the first game, he didn't celebrate. Muller did not celebrate with him. He's like, just get the ball and let's go. What are you celebrating for? And I don't know if that's just Muller's personality, because
Muller's like, did your dad pay for this? Like, this doesn't look like a seat you've earned.
Yes, that's how Muller looks. That's how Muller treats Choupo-Moting. Like a stepchild.
Like I think PSG did everybody a favor though by getting rid of Bayern. I don't think any of the other teams, like if we do get to the final, I would not have loved playing Bayern, because by then Lewandowski would have been back. So getting rid of Bayern, it's a favor to everybody.
Right.
At least it means we'll have a different winner as well.
Yeah.
Well, not if Real Madrid win.
Oh no, I mean different as in not same as last year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Trying to hold off on some things till Martin gets back, but let's just do it. I just want to talk about West Ham beating Leicester and how impressed with you guys. So what do you think, Lee?
Yeah, I think it was a big statement from them. They made Leicester look ordinary. I know Leicester pulled 2 goals back, but I think the damage was obviously already done by then. It was just they were hitting them with those quick attacks, and Leicester just couldn't deal with it. Like they knew exactly how to play against Leicester, which was interesting. Like we should try and copy that this weekend against them, because they've given everyone the plan. Because Leicester just didn't have enough to break them down, and then West Ham just moved the ball so quickly and efficiently when they got it. So it's interesting to see those quick attacks. I know me and you were having some conversations at the time about Lingard as well. The guy's just on fire. So it sounds like you're ready to welcome him back.
So Neil, yes, last week you were saying, Man U should sell. Well, why would Man U sell Bruno Lingard and give him to? Why would we give another team the British version of Bruno Fernandes?
Because you wouldn't be selling to a rival anyways, so he wouldn't be hurting you.
What do you mean?
It's not like Chelsea or Liverpool or Spurs are going to go and buy. Well, maybe Spurs, but I don't think any of the teams you're really afraid of would go and buy Lingard.
Would you sell? Like Chelsea has a lot of players out on loan.
Yeah.
I know last week was 1 week, but he scored 2 more this week. If you had Lingard on your books and he was at West Ham, I know you guys have a bunch of scorers of people. Would you sell him? Be honest.
I think I would sell him. I think we know what we can get. What's the ceiling with Lingard, and if you can get also it depends on the price, right?
What if I'm getting only raised because he's raising the ceiling right now?
I don't know.
You're not looking at. You're judging Lingard on the reason why he's on loan, not what he's doing on loan.
Well, but isn't that a bigger sample size to judge him on? Instead of a couple of months?
If you go back to a bigger sample size, this is the guy that played so good for Man United that he played for England in the last World Cup and made it to the semifinals. I don't think he had a good World Cup, but he was considered. This is not his first England call-up since he's, for the West Ham. He was before, so you're ignoring.
No, I think he's a good player, but I guess my point is depending on what price you get. If you're just getting around 20 million, 25 million, it's not worth the trouble. You keep him. But if you're getting, because I think you will get something of 40 million plus offered for him, I think this is the best time to sell him.
All those goals in the Premier League. I think.
Are you going to start it? Okay, here's my question to you. If Lingard comes back, are you going to start him? Do you think he has a starting position at United?
We can make it something work where you have to rotate, right? There's one time we had Lukaku and Rashford and Martial and somebody else.
Would you play him in front of Pogba or Bruno ahead of either of them?
I would play him on the left, like where he's playing now. Put Rashford on the right. We're gonna probably, like we was talking to Lee, we're gonna probably lose Cavani. You put Mason Greenwood as a forward, and then if anybody gets injured, you rotate in Martial. You just keep rotating. You're gonna need more forwards than you use. Plus, we have Ahmad. You need to get Ahmad in there. That's why, I don't want to lose Cavani. He seems to be.
Van de Beek, who can't get a game.
But Van de Beek has to. There's spots for him because they have to start trusting him and letting him play in not just attacking midfield, but also in our defensive midfield and get some use out of him.
I think the one way Lingard can come in is either because Van de Beek, it looks like Solskjaer doesn't really trust him because he
that's the case?
Because he's not got any minutes. I'm not talking about somebody who's like being used on and off. Like, you know how Pulisic under Tuchel was? It looks like Van de Beek has just not got any game time. So if Van de Beek is not in Solskjaer's plan, or if
Can I just stop you? He just does that with players. Like, there was one time this season you didn't see Dan James at all, and then all of a sudden, Dan James is getting a long ass run of games. So
it's been almost an entire season, and unlike other players, Van de Beek has been fit. It's not that he's been injured. That's why he's been away. That's the choice.
I'm sure Solskjaer's not blind, and there's a reason. And it's like when I look at what's the other Ajax player that's at Barca?
De Jong.
De Jong.
When he first got to Barca, he did not play as much as he's playing now. We had this argument before too.
Yeah.
The guy from Ajax at Juventus, and even is just, you got to give players time to acclimate. I think there's a lot of underrating of United players, and because sometimes but there are United players now in other parts of the world that were considered trash that are lighting up those parts of the world. Like, we're gonna have 4 United players win Serie A who were considered trash. Even Lukaku. So it's like, I think we're better than we look player-wise, and it's tougher to get in. And I think nobody would have ever bought Ashley Young, but he's starting. And I think, is it Damian or Dalot over there on Inter? I can't remember.
Damian.
Dalot's AC Milan, I think.
Yeah, and then Lukaku, Sanchez.
No, I don't think you should sell any of these guys. I mean, Lingard is a different issue because you actually did make the choice to take him away from the squad. But I don't think you should sell Van de Beek. I'm just saying, we don't know for sure, right? What's the reason? If the reason is that Van de Beek is not in Solskjaer's plans, then maybe that opens up a spot for somebody like a Jesse Lingard, or if Pogba.
I say you keep the best one. Pogba might be out, so there's going to be.
So then,
so I think Van de Beek will play.
Yeah, and then it also makes more room for somebody like Jesse Lingard. But I'm saying,
I could see Lingard, like, you sell him for 40 million, and then I could see him just doing nothing next season. Like, I think
I don't believe that, because the reason why he'll do something is he's not playing for Man U, he's playing for England, and the only way to play for England is to play good for whoever he wants to so he can use them to get on the thing. So he's going to want to make the Euros, and he's going to want to make the World Cup. It's going to be his life. So he's going to be playing. Like, he can't slack off if he wants to play in the World Cup. Like, you see the Mason Mount is doing. There's Grealish. They got players that can play on the list. He's going to have to step up continuously.
Oh, that's true.
He's motivated, but not because of Man United. But that's the problem with Jesse Lingard. He's never motivated by the right thing, but he can be motivated. And when he is, that's the guy you want.
Not necessarily true. I'll tell you my take on that.
Martin, let me introduce you first. So Martin just joined us he's a Tottenham fan, and he joined us for the second half of the podcast, which is more than Tottenham did in their game against Man U. Martin, unlike his team, shows up in the second half of the podcast. What's up, Martin?
Hey, well, they played the first half, I'm playing the second half, so.
Yeah.
Those are,
And then Mourinho plays the post-game. He attacks in the post-game interview harder than you guys attack during the game.
He was incredible in that interview, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, how many points did he get for that interview?
My take. Well, actually, both our teams took 3 points from the games this season. But going back to Lingard, I heard a very good point from old buddy of mine, Jonathan Wilson, who said that Lingard needs space to operate, needs to have a ball where he can use his speed. And in West Ham, the whole team kind of plays for him, where the team like Man U or some other, let's say, top teams because West Ham, they're technically top team, but not really, like they're overachieving. He's not really as good to be the main guy on one of those top teams. So he's a classic issue of being a very good player who can be a top player on an average team, and might not have to show his potential on a team where he cannot really be one of those guys.
Can I counter that?
Yeah, please.
So when Mourinho was coaching us, that's when Lingard, towards the end of Mourinho's tenure at Man United, that's when Lingard took the dip. And then if I want you to go back and remember Ollie's first 13 games with Man United, it was Lingard out there with Rashford, Pogba, and Martial, and we were going forward and we were scoring. Then Lingard not only had personal problems and got caught up in social media and, and wasn't doing what he's supposed to be doing to prepare himself for games, but Solskjaer also changed the way we played and went more defensive, and he got more cautious. So then it did affect Lingard as much as his other problems. But we are a team that counterattacks and does play a lot like West Ham sometimes. So Jesse Lingard definitely fits in then. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of teams we counterattack. In Champions League, and you saw us doing it against Leipzig and PSG. If we play Liverpool, Man City, there's a ton of good teams that we play parts of the game or all of the game the way West Ham plays. So he'll be fine. And if he's just a good footballer, period, he should be able to, handle the different styles of play that we throw at, or that we're going to need him for.
He's maybe just not at that level because, you have Fernandes technically playing the same position. And Fernandes
it's not the same position. He's on the left at West Ham. Fernandes is in the middle.
Yeah, he's in the middle, but also you set up a little bit differently. Like Lingard likes to operate on the wide, right? He likes to go wide, and he likes to make runs in the middle. He's allowed to do a lot of stuff that Fernandes is allowed to do in sort of more of a free role on Man U, and that was the case. That when he's not that player and he needs to be disciplined in his role, he might not be good enough for a top team. But where he's allowed to do whatever he wants to do on a team like West Ham, he might flourish. And somebody made a case, I think, on the same podcast I was listening to, that for his sake, it's better if he stays for a team like West Ham. He can have 10 goals, 10 assists every season for a team like West Ham, and
he's going to have more. He's going to have more in less games.
Like there was a guy who actually used to play for Southampton, a kind of a forgotten name, but I remember him because that's when I started paying attention to English football. His name was Matthew Letizier, and he was a local hero, and he scored a lot of goals. He was a borderline England player. He played some games for England, right? But not Man U, not Liverpool wanted to buy him because he was perfect for Southampton. He was great there. He was a top player in the league, but for Southampton.
Yeah, but then I can tell you, name off all the players that were top players for their team that Liverpool bought, and those players added to the strength of Liverpool. And that's what I would want to do. Like, if I was Man United and we never owned Jesse Lingard and I saw him playing for West Ham, I'm like, that's the type of player Man United would buy to add to us, and make us stronger. It's the same strategy that Liverpool used. Like right now, he's Berbatov over there in West Ham, but we own him. You know what I mean? Like we bought a Berbatov. We took players like that constantly. It's like he's not the players you're talking about. Like those are the what's his name, Cleverleys and the Welbecks. Those are the people the Johnny Evans used to play for us, and O'Shea when they got, and the Silvestris. Like he's way above that. We keep players like that we let go Like those are the players we let go.
Mm.
The only player like Jesse Lingard that we let go was in all our time was Diego Forlan.
Mm.
And
So
I can see why they let him go.
So from all the players from West Ham, you would pick Lingard ahead of Declan Rice. If you could pick one player to join Man U next season, it would be him, not Declan Rice.
No, well, you're trying to ask me a question to put me in a position. We don't have to pick a player from West Ham. We could, if I'm going to pick a player from West Ham, I'll pick Declan Rice because we already own Jesse Lingard. I don't have to pick Jesse Lingard.
All right, that's a good answer.
Okay, thank you. Got some approval from Martin. Now let's get to it, Martin. Let's save this for you. Thank you for being brave enough to come on. Man United beats them 4-1. What do you have to say? 4-1.
Wow.
4-1. 4-1. What do you have to say about the game, bro?
Well, first of all, if it was a Champions League quarterfinal, we would still go through. But I mean, it's clear, even from the game played at the beginning of the season, the decline of Tottenham is clear and obvious, and I spoke about it for the last 2 months that I don't see much hope, that I don't see a light in the tunnel. The only possibility of somehow having something positive to say about the season is if we win the cup, which I find debatable if we win, because I don't think it's a small chance we will, with some sort of a miracle, but we're definitely not the favorites to win it. So that would salvage a little bit of the season. Listen, sometimes I like to listen to some opinions, and there was an opinion somewhere I ran across that players seem to not have fun on Tottenham team. That they seem to treat it like going to the office job. That they don't have enthusiasm playing football, and I agree with it. It seems like they do not have enthusiasm playing football, and it seems like it's the insanity is making the same mistake over and over again. And I don't know how many games recently I can name, Arsenal game and some other games, that we start positive in the first 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, even score a goal and have a lead. And then we just start to defend, and we are not good in defending, and we concede and lose or get a draw. It happened in most of the games that we were actually up and then lost points, either a draw against Newcastle, losing to Arsenal, losing to you guys, and some other games, So it's clear that it's not working. I don't know why Mourinho keeps doing that. He keeps doing that.
Mourinho energy. Lee, what do you think? I just think your defense stinks, and that's less on Mourinho.
Yeah, but then you don't play defensive football if you don't have a very good defense. That's simple as that.
Yeah, you tell that to a defensive-minded coach. His worst nightmare is happening. He walks into a team and they're offensively set. They got a great offense and their defense stinks. So you're a defensive coach, and he's stuck mentally.
Yeah, because you can tell now that Vertonghen was there for 10 years almost, and he was actually a very underrated player. I think he kept the defense at much higher level. And he was like organizing the whole formation. And since he's gone, I think it all fell apart. And I think Mourinho himself doesn't know who is the man commanding the defense. Sometimes he wants Dyer to be that guy. Sometimes he wants Sanchez to be that guy. Neither or could be that guy. Dyer, he was very promising when he started, but his problem is that he, as a guy who's set to mark, who is supposed to be the marking guy and to mark the opposition's best forward, he just doesn't keep track of them during the game. Sometimes he falls asleep and they just outsmart him. It's not even physical. It's not the pace. It's not the lateral movement. It's just reading of his positioning. It's just bad. It's just he has the agility of a block of ice. Lee, what do you think about Martin team Spurs that stinks?
I think mine looks like he's hiding out in like Spurs fan witness protection right now. I think we said at the weekend, like, Spurs are football's premature ejaculators. Like, if you spoke to Spurs fans in November, they were title contenders.
We were.
Spurs fans were probably super confident after going 1-0 up in that game. But it's Spurs, so they always.
Martin, let me just defend Lee's statement. You text me after you went up 1-0.
Ironically, because you guys were better and we scored the goal there, that's why I was laughing.
Let me keep going, Lee. I'll find.
Are we gonna see receipts on the podcast?
Yeah. We'll see, of course.
But no, I think the game just highlighted why the Mourinho spell at Spurs isn't working. I mean, they need to do something. They either need to give him so much money that he can completely buy his own squad and then have no excuses, or they need to get rid of him. One of the other two needs to happen, and I don't know if he's worth giving a whole bunch of money to right now, because it's been a long time since he proved that he's capable of spending that correctly, I think. And if he leaves Spurs, I don't know where he goes from there. Whether he just becomes a Portugal national team manager one day or something, but I don't think any real elite club will touch him if his spell there ends in failure, which it looks like it will do.
Lee, do you have Neil? Do you have anything?
No, I mean, I think I was reading over the last few months, when Spurs started having this troubled period, that Mourinho might get sacked, but it's too expensive to sack him. But the things you're seeing right now with, it completely looks like a squad that is not, the team is not really playing. It's not compatible with the way Mourinho wants to play. Like, you have the two best attackers in the league, and you have so many good players in those parts of the pitch. Mourinho just isn't the kind of manager for those guys. So I feel, regardless of how much it costs to sack him, it's the same kind of conversation Chelsea needs to have with getting rid of Kepa. That you might have invested a lot, but if you keep persisting with this, what you're gonna lose, even financially, is not going to be worth this short-term hit. So I feel regardless of what happens in the League Cup final, if he wins your League Cup final, great, you depart on a good note. But either ways, I think Spurs needs, if they have ambitions in the league, if they want to hold on to players like Kane and Son, then you need to start looking at a new manager.
Yeah, and then I agree with you. That's like cut and dry business. You look at everything. I like that approach that Neil just mentioned. Even if he does win, you're like, thank you. Let's end on a good note, but let's move in another direction. And you better have your direction planned out. Might as well. You better be talking to that person you want now, and start to talk about how he wants to set it up and what defenders from what part of the world or what league that they're going to get. I felt going to the game, I was confident last week when we did the podcast, because I feel like Mourinho lost his locker room for sure last week. But then when I looked at the lineup that you guys put out and that we put out, I felt Solskjaer was suffering from PTSD from the first game when you guys won 6-1 and a cheating ass Son. I would never fuck with Son again. Fuck human Son. He's a cheater. He's dirty. Fuck him. I remember when he first. No. And Martin, we talked about this. When Son first was on Spurs, I'm the one that pointed him out to you and said, this guy is going to be great. You guys are lucky. You got this guy and blah, blah, blah. You remember that?
Yeah,
you remember that. And now, fuck that guy. He's a dirty fucking cheat, man. Fuck him. I do
But
not.
like every team has players who do that. I don't think it's about Son. I think United.
Nah, but he's been doing it.
too.
You know what it is? It's because he's been exploiting his innocence
Yeah, I agree
over the
with
last
that,
few years.
Yeah.
And I don't like the person who pretends they're not the person they are. You know,
Well, that's his fault, right? They
but
should
you know,
not
like
judge
listen,
the game player.
let's go back to Gomez's injury with Everton, that horrific fucking injury, and just some of the other stuff that Son has been doing.
He kicked Rudiger, got a red card.
Yeah, and in the last Man U game with Spurs before, like, fuck this guy, man. He's dirty, and he's pretending to be this innocent South Korean, but he's just as dirty as anybody. Fuck him, bro. Like,
I don't quite mind that though. I kind of like having that. I don't like, because I feel like a lot of teams right now are very soft. You need a few players who
first
have
of all,
those dark cards.
He overacted. Yeah, he overacted a little bit.
That's cheating.
Nah,
it erased Martin. It erased a legit goal. That's cheating. That's why I'm like, it's 4-1.
He got hit. He shouldn't make big theatrics about it, but it worked. So what's wrong?
Well, then I have a right to not like it and say fuck.
No, but he didn't fake it. He really did get hit. You know,
he didn't get hit.
That big of a hit, but he did get hit.
He had no problem milking it until that goal came off the board. Like, he had a chance to get up and say, "Nah, it wasn't." You had a stretcher on the field.
Yeah, and it's the same when a striker goes into the penalty box and there's a.
I don't like them either.
Match,
I don't.
They go down, right?
Martin, listen. This isn't like one incident where I'm like, "Fuck Son," and I'm going back to naming. He's
like Suarez. He's starting many times.
So what?
Luis Suarez.
I'm not a big Suarez fan either. So what do you want me to do? Like not like Suarez and like Son?
When they see a chance to get something out of the referee, they'll go for it.
How about you show me get a chance out of your abilities? Anybody else got anything to say about this? Dirty Son?
No, I don't think it's.
Let me just throw something in, because I was just in Atlanta and I went to a game 2 weeks ago. It's NBA. There are some players. There's a player, Trae Young, for Atlanta Hawks, that is known for taking little contact, faking that he's taking a shot so he can shoot free throws. I mean, players do that when they see a little opportunity that that the other guy will do something. And in this case, he did touch him. He did touch him a little bit. He did.
But this is why. This is so there's two problems here. Somebody said this on Match of the Day, where when they took away the goal from Manchester United, and it's Jermaine Dyer, he's a really good guy, and he's a Spurs guy, and he said this is wrong because you can't reward players for cheating. It ruins the game. When you reward a player for cheating, then they're all gonna cheat. Is that so? You want this guy? He did cheat, Martin. He's rolling on the floor. We all know.
Overreacted.
He's overacting. And that, first of all, McTominay reacted in self-defense. McTominay reacted in self-defense. He's trying to get an arm that shouldn't be on him. He's being octopused. Like, he shouldn't be grabbed. So he's like trying to get that arm on him so he can progress. And then as far as the rest of the play for that goal continues, Son was never going to be involved in any of the rest of that build-up. He's a forward. He just came back to try to stop McTominay. After McTominay passed the ball, he was not going to drop back in defense. So it's also the players are. How we complain about VAR. Mm-hmm. To play, and some people are complaining about VAR so much they're like, we should get rid of it. It's messing up the game. But if you got to get rid of VAR because it's messing up the game, fuck the players who are messing up the game.
Why are we discussing the player though? That was clear on.
But it's right. The referee should have did better.
Exactly. It was very clear that Son is the guy who puts the initial arm across. McTominay puts his arm back without knowing where the face is.
Right.
So why is McTominay being penalized for an intentional lashing out and not the other way around? So, if you keep doing like this, you're basically telling players to keep doing it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just that you're not making the officiating of the game better, and it's like I don't even want that on Man U, bro. To be honest,
I love Mike Phelan's reaction. Do you see him in the dugout?
Yes, yeah.
he's just like looking like that. How everyone feels about VAR.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we have to put one thing in context here. You know, like there is cheating, which is faking. There is overacting.
Martin, I don't like when girls fake it in bed, so I am not.
But you like it when they overact. They just stay down longer.
Nope. I'm a man. I could take whatever reaction you gave me. It's like what it is what it is.
Yeah, but those are faking it like that he didn't touch him and pretending like he did, or overreacting where he did touch him. You know, like technically he did. You know,
they both sound like cheating to me. It doesn't.
I see a difference between one and the other.
They sound like two tomatoes.
It's still a contact. Was what I'm trying to say. It's still like there was a contact, illegal contact. You know.
Yeah, but like I say, every contact. It's football. It's a contact sport.
Yeah, true.
So all contact is not a foul. And I blame Son and I blame the referee because in another game this week, or games just all over Europe, it's like the referee's got to be able to tell. And like if you ask me if Pogba should have got a red card, I say yeah.
Yeah, they just have to make the rules more playable, I guess, because, you know, like another argument I've heard about this situation, and somebody said it, and I agree that Paul Gascoigne, if he played in today's football, he would have 0 assists and 0 goals because he was running with his hands out all the time. You know, that was his style. He had his hands out and he was hitting people by accident, you know. So he wouldn't be allowed to stay on the field in a single game with those rules because technically he was kind of hitting people on the way to the goal. That's how he played. You know, he had his hands out.
Shit, he couldn't play back then because of alcohol. So, yeah. Lee, you have anything else to say about cheating ass Son or Neil? Should we move on?
I think it was a good game though for United.
Yeah, it was a good game.
There's a lot of fights.
Game for United, probably.
All 3 goals for United were quality moves.
Four.
Sorry. All really good bits of football though, and really good finishes as well.
Yeah.
Cavani, listen, you know, in terms of movement, he's at the end of his career and he's leaving to Boca Juniors at the end of the season. He'll play for Boca Juniors next year. He's still, listen, you know, he's in the class with Lewandowski, maybe 3-4 more strikers in terms of movement. His movement is great. His movement is very, very good. He's not as fast anymore. He's not as quick. He is not maybe. He doesn't have stamina to defend all the time, but his movement in the penalty box, absolutely elite.
I'm kind of confused by Cavani because I hear he wants to leave. Then I see him play, and he plays like he wants another contract. Like defensively, he saved the game from being 2-2. And then offensively, he made it 2-1 and did things to just, and then at the end of the game, he's like pumping his fist. I'm like, that guy wants to leave? I need to hear him say it because I've never seen somebody want to leave, like play so passionately for a team that they want to leave. Like,
that's just his style. Like he's one of those guys who just, he's 100%, he's all in when he's on the field.
So we should just kidnap him and keep him because we have the option. What is he going to
do?
What's he going to do? Play passionately again?
Yeah, that's the guy you should hold on to, not Lingard.
Yeah. Well, no, I think we should let him go though, so that we can let our other players behind him that are younger develop. You know, but I think we're paying. He's almost like a on the field coach for our young forwards. And I think, I think it's a good. It's great that we have him, and he's teaching Mason Greenwood, who's been playing good the last few games, teaching him things that he'll hold on to for the rest of his life, and at least he can hopefully just phone. You know, it's like watching a dad being reunited with his son after not raising him the way those two play. Did we discuss Man City in Champions League facing Dortmund? What are their chances?
Not yet, no.
What you feel?
I think they'll brush them aside. It's similar to the Liverpool game in that I think I said last week if Dortmund had a full stadium of fans, it might be tough for City to go there and there'll be more pressure. But I think with no atmosphere, City will just go there and they'll be clinical. I think they'll win again, or they'll do enough to get through. I know that much. They've just got too much quality, I think, for Dortmund. Dortmund have been really unconvincing this season as well. The manager knows he's leaving and getting replaced at the end of the season. I think they're not consistent enough this season to cause them problems. I think City will go through.
What do you think, Martin?
Yeah, Borussia Dortmund is only, I think, 5th in Bundesliga. They're not going to qualify for Champions League next season, so they have one game pretty much to focus on. Where City technically have 2 games to focus on because they're going to win the league anyway. So they have the cup final against us, and they have the Champions League. And I think Guardiola really wants to make an impact in the Champions League. They were sort of disappointing in the previous years. That's the one thing that Guardiola didn't win in a long time since Barcelona years. So I'm sure they're going to go for it. Listen, like the first game they barely won. They won in the stoppage time. Foden scored a goal. So it will be interesting. Yeah, all Borussia Dortmund needs is 1-0 win, and I think they want to probably sell some players after the season. Maybe Haaland for a lot of money. So all they need is Haaland to score 1 goal and defend well. That's it.
All right. I feel like City will handle it. They're a more mature team. They've done more, and they're in a great position to wrap this up. It's something I forgot to mention, going back to Leicester's getting beat by West Ham, because we talked about West Ham and Leicester, right?
Yeah.
But one thing I forgot to mention is so in that game, Brendan Rodgers did not bring
the 3 guys
the 3 Perez and Madison, right?
And Barnes as well.
And Barnes.
And Chowdhury. Barnes was injured, but it was the 4 of them that were at the party, and 3 of them he chose not to pick, but Barnes was injured, so he wouldn't pick him. So express what happened, Lee. So they had a party the night before, I think, or 2 nights before, at Perez's house. And Brendan Rodgers texted one of them or all of them or something and said, you guys need to leave. And apparently they ignored that. They stayed and they turned all the lights off in the house because the police were called. And they turned off all the lights in the house and everyone hid. And then apparently when the police went, they turned it all back on again. And then some of them went back to a different player's house. And
I kind of read that. I kind of read that.
You rate that because it wasn't Chelsea players.
No,
I think for some players though, like Madison, it's a bad look for him with all the competition for places in the England squad, because Southgate can use that as an excuse to just go, nah, you're not the sort of person we want to take to a tournament because we don't know if we can trust you off the field, kind of thing. But I would have liked to see Rodgers go around there like Fergie did back in the day with United players and bust up the party and send everyone home.
I heard Jack Grealish sponsored that party.
Yeah, Madison looks like this entitled kid from a rich family a little bit, right? The way he looks, and he is a little arrogant guy, and he the way he celebrates goals, the way he talks, he's kind of a little bit full of himself, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I got to give credit to Brendan Rodgers. It was a critical game. You're in. Where is Leicester now? Are they still second? Let me check.
No, third.
Third. You're playing a team that's now 1 point behind you. It's like you're fighting you lost out on the last game of last season out of Champions League spot, and it's now you can't let those players get away with this, because if they'd have played, it's a possibility like Leicester would have got some points or all the points, but he has to be a coach and think of, make a decision that's going to affect, solidify his future with the team. So he puts these guys, he doesn't put them on the playing squad. Now, what would have been better for him is if the team had won without them, just to drive his point home more. But he took the chance, and they lost. And not only did they lose, but the rest of Leicester act like they weren't on the roster either until Iheanacho, who normally when Barnes and Maddison are healthy doesn't play. And since they've been injured, he's been playing a little bit and scoring. He's like, shit, I'm going to make them know that this is not a fluke, that I can score. And if y'all need some options, if these knuckleheads want to be partying and working hard to contract COVID, let me show you what I can do. So when everybody else wasn't playing, Iheanacho was like, yo, just remember, after the ban of these good dudes, I scored before when they were injured. I scored while they're partying. So consider me, because I want to keep playing. And then Southgate was there. So Maddison misses a chance to get seen by. It's a huge opportunity that he blew by going to that party, because Southgate was there to see him. Like, you just made him waste a trip. And then now Southgate is like, he gets to see Jesse Lingard stunt on your team. And then he's like, so the decision is made. Jesse Lingard will be replacing Maddison on the team, because he scored 2 goals right in front of the England coach, in front of your team, on your team.
I don't think Maddison's even in the team right now. So
but he's a consideration. He's not in it because like Jesse Lingard was behind Maddison when the season started, because Jesse Lingard was getting no playing time. But now Jesse, with the help of Maddison, just definitely amputated Maddison's chances of ever getting on that team for the Euros. So and I just want to go back to the Aston Villa Liverpool game, which is a revenge game.
By the way, I just want to say, Brendan Rodgers, it's looking likely another season he's going to be bottling it. So he's on bottle watch for the rest of the 7 games.
I'm hoping he bottles the semi-final this weekend. That would be nice.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like imagine, like he has a shot at both top 4 and a trophy, and if he doesn't get at least one of them.
I just want us to get to the final, because then if we play you or Chelsea, it doesn't matter if we lose, we still get into Europe. Because both of you are going to qualify through the league.
Oh, that is true.
So I just need us to beat Leicester, get to the final, and then we can lose 9-0 again or something to someone else, and we still get Europe. It's all good.
And you get a Europa League spot?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But don't you want to? If you get to the finals, don't you want to win, or you just like, nah?
Yeah. It'll be nice, but I mean, the way this season's gone for us in the end, just European football will be amazing. But I mean, if we get to the final, then if we can give it a go, but realistically against Chelsea or City, we'll be underdogs. So I wouldn't expect us to win.
Are you concerned about Hudson as a coach? Because
no, he's doing his best to stay with us. It looks like for these results right now.
We can trade managers if you want.
But Martin, that's the question. Have you heard their record what's their record lead in the last 10 games?
Not good.
It's not good. So you want that coach, Martin?
Yeah, I still want that coach. I think he could play up to the strengths of Tottenham on this current roster better, because he would still
you guys want Nagelsmann, don't want Hudson?
Yeah.
I think Nagelsmann
with
a lot of goals for sure, But Tuchel was the coach.
Martin, that's that premature ejaculation mentality, like wanting Hudson instead of going for something like Nagelsmann. Like going for Nagelsmann is a championship move.
But who we gonna hire? Who's the
Nagelsmann.
Maybe.
Why?
But I think the question is, does Nagelsmann want to come to Spurs? Because he's been scouted for like a Bayern Munich. Because Bayern Munich will need a coach, by the way.
Yes. Flick will get fired, I think, eventually.
But well, actually, they're saying Flick is going to take over as the German national team coach since Lau is leaving. So Bayern's going to need a coach. A couple of other clubs who are at a higher level than Spurs might need a coach.
so Nagelsmann is just going to, hey, what up, Upamecano, or whatever your name is? I'm trying to learn it for sure this time, now that I'm your new coach at Bayern.
Yeah, so then
I sold you to Bayern because I knew I was coming here.
Yeah.
That's insider trading.
I don't think Flick would be a coach of Germany. He doesn't have enough experience on this managerial level to be coach of Germany suddenly. I think the way they go out.
Neither did Lowe. He has more
experience than Lowe. He was the assistant, though. He was the assistant for a long time before, So and he built that team.
No, he not a long time. He was an assistant under Klinsmann, and Klinsmann was only coach for like leading up to the World Cup.
He was a Bundesliga coach for a while before, because I remember him from the 90s. So yeah, I mean, I would assume that knowing the history of Germany, they would rather go probably for someone more experienced for that.
Right.
Plus, it's a great job at Bayern. And listen, he won so many trophies. Who would fire him after just one loss in the Champions League quarterfinal without their best player? So no.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
They were out without their best player.
And they still do.
Yeah, they still won actually in Paris today. They still won the game with Choupo-Moting being as their main striker. So
yeah.
Who's playing this weekend in the Premier League? Like, what's the main? Let me look through these games.
There's obviously a few teams out because of the FA Cup.
Yeah, the semi-finals this weekend, FA Cup.
So it's
there's a bunch of other games. So Everton, Tottenham.
That's important.
Oh my God, another game that I want to watch.
Well, Everton wasn't too great this weekend.
No, Brighton actually were better in that game. I watched the second half.
Everton's form is dipping off. They obviously drew with Palace, was it, the week before?
Mm-hmm. Their midfielders are missing. Like the Allen, the Corey, and Hamas ain't doing so great. And so, yeah, they got Brighton Hove outshined them this week. But they didn't get the, Brighton Hove just can't score. See, Brighton Hove tries to pass the ball in the net. And the thing I was looking at Jesse Lingard is like he shoots from outside the box. And Brighton Hove needs to get themselves in shooting position, instead of like trying to pass the ball into the net.
You're saying Brighton needs to buy Jesse Lingard from you guys?
I don't know if they can afford him. We can talk about Man City losing to Leeds with 10-man leads. That was a beautiful game. Yeah. What you got, Lee?
Yeah, it's just interesting. Like they went 1-0 up before going down to 10 men, and they played it really well. Like they just sat in. They tried to deny City space and allowing them to get into the box, kind of thing. Made them shoot from out. They had John Stones shooting from like 30 yards to try and score, and it wasn't a surprise when City actually. Scored a goal.
You mean the Kaiser John Stone? Like the way he was grabbing the ball and dribbling.
He was playing like an attacking centre mid. But Yaya
Stones.
It wasn't a surprise that City actually scored their goal by combination play in the box, because that's how they score their goals, or they score from low crosses. Like they didn't have De Bruyne on the pitch, and he's the guy that's going to score from 30 yards. If you're going to have anyone, obviously they're resting him for the big game tomorrow. But it was a really impressive performance of Leeds, and I thought they'd done enough to get the draw. I didn't see them scoring that second goal. Like it was a crazy last 5 minutes where they decided they were going to try and win the game, which is a real ballsy move. But yeah, it was kind of, I quite liked it from an entertainment point of view. You had like Rafinha going through 1v1 and Edison tried to defend a slide tackle on him, which was interesting. But yeah, I mean, it was a real, it just showed Leeds have got a lot of heart. And they earned it in the end. I didn't see it happening. I thought City would have the quality to break them down. Even when it was 1-0, as soon as that red card happened, I was like, well, City are going to win this 3-1 or something. So no, credit to Leeds. They worked hard and they earned it.
Yeah, for the first time, they played a different way, more than one way throughout a game. Like the master,
part of us.
The master beat his student and switch up the plan. So they intermittently parked the bus at the right time and then sprung it at the right time, and they got some points. Anybody else got anything they want to talk about? Because it's the last, you get to make your last statement.
Well, I mean, Liverpool. It looked like everything is out of picture and looked like a lost season because the other teams slipping. They actually have a pretty good shot, and that's why Rodgers should be worried because Liverpool are not that far ahead, far down.
Yeah.
Sorry, far behind.
They've won their last 4 games, I think.
So if they put pressure on teams like Leicester and Chelsea, but I think Chelsea will be fine eventually. I think they will, although when I watched the game on Easter against West Brom, which I wasn't so sure about that. So you kind of laid an Easter egg that day. So if you don't have games like that, you should be in top 4. But I think Liverpool will put pressure on Leicester, and it's a test for Brendan Rodgers. He doesn't want to concede to his former team, the team that fired him, and replace him with the current coach, right? Because he technically was there right before Klopp. If he now loses to Klopp again in a different circumstances, that definitely would be traumatic for Brendan Rodgers, So I would say Liverpool are back in the game. That's they have a chance. They have a chance to finish up.
And they have the easiest fixtures going forward. I think Chelsea has the toughest. Leicester somewhere in between. And I think it's just and West Ham, right? West Ham actually.
What do you guys think about West Ham? What do you think about West Ham, Neil?
Well, they've scored 3 goals in the last 3 games each. Mm-hmm. So, and now they're doing it even without their best player, Declan Rice. So, yeah.
Their best player is Jesse Lingard.
Yeah. So.
And Cresswell is a very good player for them too, actually.
Yeah, Noble after being on vacation with his legs up watching Declan Rice play is fresh.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean that team, and they've actually gone past their tough round of games. I was thinking like 5 or 6 games back that West Ham, there's no way because they have a lot of tough games remaining. But now I think Chelsea's their only tough game remaining. So I mean they're going to be a serious spin, yes, for teams like Leicester, Chelsea, Liverpool.
Neil, I'm shocked that you gave Chelsea the credit of being a tough game for West Ham, the way you've been downgrading the Michelin rating on Chelsea the entire.
That's only against Real Madrid and Liverpool. I'm pretty confident of being in the top 4. In the top 4 race, I'm pretty confident. Yeah.
You see, all right. That's pretty.
Also because I think we are the only team among these that have the advantage that we are playing Leicester and West Ham. So it's kind of in our hands to bring those guys down. Mm-hmm. Whereas Liverpool just have to hope for, good results from other teams and do their stuff. So yeah, we have a lot of things in our hands right now, and I think we should be able to get top 4.
All right, Neil, what you got? So you have the semi-final this weekend?
Yeah, that's going to be another huge game. Because now I feel like we should be going for.
You're playing Man City.
Man City, yeah. And
what do you think of your chances?
I mean, again, Man City are the favorites, but I don't think if we keep solid at the back, we just somehow need to get that attacking thing going. We are great versus Palace, but then we are not good at all against Porto, the 2 games in an attacking sense. So something needs to click, but I think we can hurt them too. It's not like they're defensively flawless either.
You don't think so? They seem pretty good defensively.
They make a few mistakes, here and there. I think it's the same like us, like can make mistakes when under pressure.
They got a way better defense. What you think, Lee? Of your chance?
I just hope we can forget this weekend, or yesterday's game. Like we need like the Men in Black like memory wiper thing and just forget it ever happened.
There will be a lot of wipers involved for you guys.
Yeah,
for sure.
The Burnley win the week before was our last game in my mind. But yeah, I mean, I think we can cause Leicester problems. They might be a bit unsettled after what happened with those players. Be interesting to see if they will come back this week. But yeah, it'd be nice to see us get to a final. Because obviously the last time we got to a final, it was against United in the Carabao Cup a few years back, 2017, I think, and we got robbed with a disallowed goal. So it'd be good to have a final Wembley again.
Martin, did you already say your last words, or you'll give your last rights?
My last rights,
on this episode.
I hope we win the cup, although I'm not confident. If I would have to bet all my money on it, I would bet it on City winning it, unfortunately. So I hope we win the cup. In the league, it's irrelevant at this moment. We'll finish probably somewhere between 6th and 8th. Would say 6 probably, definitely ahead of Arsenal, because I don't believe in Arsenal, even if they won last game. I don't believe in that team, so I think we'll finish ahead of Arsenal. It will be the only positive from the season, pretty much. You
guys are tied. Let me see. You got 49. They got 45. And yep, same amount of games. All right, we'll see. It's enough games for them to catch you. The way you guys are playing.
But the way they are playing, it's more about them, the way they are playing. I don't see that happening because they are very inconsistent, just like we are. We'll probably be the same gap at the end of the season.
Yeah, both your defenses stink.
Yep.
So, yeah. I guess the last thing I got to say is fuck Son. And from the bottom of my heart, fuck that guy. It's cheap.
Feed him? Would you feed him when?
Would I what?
Would you feed him?
Nah.
No.
Nah. And then, like, Mourinho, shut up. Like, first of all, Solskjaer's talking figuratively. It doesn't mean he's not going to. And you're not a better father for raising a cheat. And you're not a better father for raising.
But Solskjaer, I think, is a little hypocritical too. Like, he has players in his team who do this all the time. So I don't know why he feels that he has. I mean, actually, any manager should not, in this day and age, should not be claiming the moral high ground on that.
It's funny because some pundit said that Oli said the same thing already 3 times since he became a Manchester United manager. So the child services should look into his account, because he already said 3 times something about not feeding a kid in different.
There you go, like Mourinho taking it literally.
Well, if there's been a lot of jokes where if Solskjaer doesn't feed his son, then Marcus Rashford will, because he's the one feeding the kids in this country. So.
Yeah. But I go back to what I said. Fuck Son, and no dinner for him. And guys, thanks for being on the podcast. Thank you, Aaron Brungardt, for producing it. Martin, thanks for showing up. When you could.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's more than I can say for Spurs in the second half against Man U. And Neil, thanks for coming through. Fun having shows with you this weekend. San Diego.
It's great fun, man.
Lee, great seeing you and your amazing ceiling and your purple shirt to represent your team's 4-0 loss to West Brom, because that goal was not offside.
Yeah, it was legit.
It was legit. Thank you for your honesty. And we love y'all. Keep listening, keep watching, like and subscribe, and we'll get at you next week.